Welcome back after the new year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
And Akhilesh and I have talked yesterday, and we have some devious plans for this year. So we're going to be, just talking about that. Plan to get back into the new year running.
Yes, sir.
Do you need the notes, or do you
Uh, yeah, I remember
remember
everything
mostly?
mostly. Yeah. So the plan is to firstly implement the various layouts that we were discussing before the break for our editor, as Victor was partially working on that. I think. But now we have decided that, yeah, the first thing that we will ship as a feature would be a way to organize your editor the way that you want it. And then we have looked at a couple of ways that we can do it. So I mean, these are just ideas, but the
Mm-hmm.
first pass of this would be to give the users predefined layouts that they can change. Like we have talked about it in our group, but overall, the layouts would look like putting preview not as a small window but as a bigger window, so that the users can feel that it is feel kind of like a vibe coding setup where they don't have to look at the
Mm-hmm.
code. Basically, that's the idea. And then a couple of variations of that layouts. And then after that, the second pass of that would be to the ability to drag around different windows, like putting the terminal into the editor, where the editor tabs are, putting the preview where the editor tabs are, and stuff like that. And then the file manager and everything that you see in the editor, sandbox editor, could be moved around. So yeah, that's the second part. And then, so while that is going on, me and Abdul will be working on the refactoring of the AI chat and fixing a couple of bugs that we got from our bugathon, which was really good feedback from users. So we'll be fixing those along with refactoring the code, um, not by a little bit, by a lot, because we added features really fast. So I think there is a lot of refactoring needed to be able to read the code easily. So that's what me and Abdul will be working on for a couple of weeks. It will take a couple of weeks, in my opinion, but maybe more. And then I think while that refactor is going on, because our code base is really modular in terms of the components of the AI chat, and in general in general the IDE that we have, it is really modular, all thanks to Victor because he was working on that.
Yeah.
I do not think that this refactor and the feature, that the layout feature, would clash that much. Maybe there will be some points that it can clash,
Yeah.
but we can find a way to work on the whole thing together. So this is the plan for the next month, at least for the January. And then at the end of January, we'll see where the progress is, and then we'll decide for the next month. So this is the plan. So it's not this was just a brief overview of the plan that we discussed yesterday. But yeah, we still I'll talk with Victor and Abdul and Jamil as well, to uh, devise a proper step-by-step plan to implement all of these things. So yeah, that's the whole overview of what we discussed yesterday. Any questions?
Good.
Yeah.
Victor or Abdul, did you have any thoughts on implementing how we would implement this? I mean, mainly Victor, you had already had some ideas on how to implement better layouts?
Yeah. So I was thinking of something. I think what you said was why I actually sort of settled on something similar to the way VS Code actually works, and Vplate also, where you could move any tab to any position and move them anyhow you want to, depending on your use case. So it gives a lot of creative freedom in how you want to like set up your app and how you want your dev space to be like. So I think that's really good. I'm just really curious about how the initial layout is going to be like. Like, how do we want to make it look like when they first get in, before they try and customize to whatever sort of layout that they want? How do you want it to be like? I know you mentioned the preview being by the side, but you really can't picture it right now. Maybe you could just create a sketch so I can see how it's going to be like and I can implement it on my own end.
Yeah. It was just a brief idea of what we were thinking about. It can definitely change. It's not a hardened idea that is already in place, but we
Yeah.
can definitely
Oh,
discuss more on it of how the predefined layout would look like. The only reason that the first step is the predefined layout is because we I mean it could be a big code change in the way that we have the component set up, because we will have to, I mean, eventually we'll have to do draggable stuff around. So I was just thinking up till that um, miles not the milestone, I forgot the word, but up till that point we would have a basic foundation of implementing that feature. So that's why I was more leaning towards a predefined layout, because it will not be that hard to do, but it will not be something that is very backwards on the way of implementing this feature as a whole. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that could be an intermediate
exactly, yeah.
step. And Victor, you can also put your feedback in whether you prefer to jump right into the.
Yeah.
If you prefer to jump into the big one, that's also an option. Um, the main thing I
Okay.
think to just keep focused on is our end goal is that, whether someone is editing with our agent or with Claude Code or Open Code in the terminal, it should be it should feel comfortable also on a small screen or a big screen. So that's basically the use what we should have in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention the eventual goal will be to also integrate Claude Code or Open Code into Sandbox Editor, so that
oh,
optionally users can use those two agents if they want to. Otherwise, our a GetWit agent is also good enough at this stage, but it could be improved. So if
Yeah,
they want to, they can use both of those as well. So yeah,
good.
so the layout, so this is where the layout will come in handy, because in VS Code you could put terminal in place of as a editor tab. So you could have a Claude Code window over here, and then on the right side you can have preview window or vice versa. So kind of like
Mhm.
that.
sure, I totally agree.
Cool. So, yeah, those are the next steps. And there's still plenty of bugs I think that we may have to triage, prioritize.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I just have one thing to add from what I've learned recently. I recently talked to a company that's created a layer for sandbox abstraction. So would abstract Daytona, E2B, anyone else we wanted to add, um, which is great because more credits, and then people can even put in their own API keys. So yeah, they're willing to. I just want to make sure that it will be like backwards compatible and everything with our existing platform. But yeah, they're willing to help us to implement that, and it's open source, so
Oh,
that'll be good. And they also have solved the terminal, like the terminal issue and everything. So that could actually even simplify our code base. Main thing is
that's
that if we support different sandbox providers, then we'll also have a column um, in the table, in the sandbox table, for which provider it's using. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
that's all.
Timeline wise, this needs to happen before the idea of introducing open code and cloud code, or after this,
No,
or it doesn't
everything.
matter.
Yeah, all three things that we're talking about are just going to happen in parallel. And actually, there's no. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it doesn't really matter with that. So the
Yeah.
terminal is good enough as it is right now that you could use Claude Code and open code if you want to, but we just want to
Probably.
make sure that we get the bugs that we already have fixed before we try to before we push people into using those.
Yeah, and the other thing that needs to be working really well is probably we talked about the file edit events.
Yeah,
Like if you edit something in Claude Code, it needs to show up in the file tab.
yeah,
That in theory works in GitWit, but in practice it never works. So that needs to be
yeah.
fixed.
We need to get that fixed.
Cool.
And with Cloud Code and everything, we don't have to worry about the diffu or anything else because it just shows everything into the terminal. So that's the
Yeah.
only thing we need to fix right now.
Yeah. Mhm. Cool. Well, that
Yeah,
was easy.
yeah. This was the whole overview. Yeah. Any questions if you guys have? Welcome.